Hello, everyone. So I am going to go to Google Chrome and go to this screen right here. It's not a current application, but I'll go to it. So this is with the Nikon Z 24 to 200 millimeter f4 to 6.3 VR. That's the lens I use on this camera. So I took out 3 cameras today. I took out the Canon 24 to 240 all-in-one lens, the Panasonic 28 to 200 all-in-one lens, and now I'm using the 24 to 200 all-in-one lens. This lens should be great for travel and for family occasions. Um, it's better than carrying 2 lenses of the 24 to 70 to 70 to 200. It takes decent photos with the proper camera. I use the Nikon Z8 on here. And if we scroll down, it's about $900. They have a sale going on. And everybody has a sale going on. So, but you can see some of the wonderful pictures that they do. But here's a review of the lens. It's not heavy. Feels good in the hands on the Z8. It's f4 to 6.3. Okay. It does extend, but it is image stabilized. And you can see some of the pictures that shows the inside of the lens, the lens elements and stuff. It's still best to use the lens hood and periodically dry off the front of the lens if you're shooting in the rain. But the coat is a big help. And then there is a locking mechanism on the lens also. So you won't get a zoom creep. But look at some of these shots right here. Yeah. And this is what they did. Beautiful pictures. It shows you, this is with the Z5 with this lens, okay? This is one of the first lenses I picked up, the 24 to 200 millimeter, before they started coming out with the smaller primes and stuff. But look at this. Beautiful pictures, great lens. That's a tree in the water. I can't believe it. I mean, it's being swallowed up by the water. It's still ground right there, but it's amazing. Still living. Yeah, that's it for the pictures. So let's go to what I view. And I'm going to go to current application, go over here. Okay. So now here, I'm going to go at using this lens at 24 millimeters, and that's at 200. I will say one thing. Comparing to the 24 millimeters on the Canon, the Nikon looks a lot closer. Okay. I don't think I had it in crop mode, but I'm going to check the camera real quick. Let's see, menu, camera. Nope. 16 by 9. Okay. Full frame. Outstanding. I didn't mess up for once, like I did on the first video, where I didn't have any sound at all. But anyway, so here's the 200 millimeters. And then I went to the neighborhood that's right next door with all the deer. So this deer jumps up and grabs the leaves. But I'll say one thing about the camera. I had great focusing with the Z8 in this lens. A lot better with than the Lumix, and a lot better than the Canon. And I'll show you why in a moment. So you see branches getting away, it does, and if the animal is moving and don't have the shutter speed fast enough, that's what happens. But you see, you get a perfect picture and then bokeh behind it, where it's getting blurred. So the focus of attention is the eyes, not the tail, the eyes. Okay. And this is at 24 millimeters. But I love the colors. I have it on Vivid. I love the colors for the Nikon. I like the colors for the Panasonic too. And then this is at 200 millimeters. And then I found more deer right here. So if I crop at 24 millimeters, it looks pretty sharp. But at 200 millimeters, you can get real close. Look at that. That's a pretty good shot. And then I went to the park. So there's this bird right there. Okay. I don't know what it's called, but it moves so fast, it's unreal. You know, you've seen roadrunners move fast. This one moves fast. So I know Gustavo knows the name of this bird. Very sharp. He's there now. If I crop in right there, okay. So I see it's a little pixelated, but that's at 24 millimeters. See, 24 to 200 millimeters. So now if I crop in, it's a lot better. And I think he's trying to get a worm or something, ant. And now I'm looking at this part right here put my windows, my side windows there of the car. So that's part of the bridge that they're going to lay the rails on and then cement that part in. And that's at 200 millimeters. So you can see all the traffic stalled. That's an everyday occurrence. So I learned to go different ways to get to places. And that's at 24, 200. And you can see a bird flying. And that's kind of sharp too. But I was focusing in this area. 24. Yeah, now I'm following the bird. So I think it did a better job in focusing on the bird, even if it was going at me. Of course, primes are better, and there's something in the background. It might be another bird. Wanted to point that out. And you see it's right there now. Yeah. See, he's coming closer. So I think this camera and this lens is sharper than the Canon one, even if that's a 24 to 240. This is at 200 millimeter. But you know, this bird came closer to me. So that's a great shot right there. If I crop in, that's a vulture. Okay. And I started doing the hospital, 24 millimeters, the cranes. Leighton Lewis, third crane, and then you have all the people working. And this is at 200 millimeters. They're pretty far away. So in the previous video, this guy is sitting there while everybody else is working. He could be the supervisor on his tablet doing something, but he's on a tablet. So, but there's a guy there. There's two people there. They're working on this, and they're doing the electric wiring right now. I'm just going to pan through here. It's sharp. There's a guy work there. I messed up. So there's people there, the guy. Okay, where is it? Yeah. One guy up, 3 or 4 guys there. Let's zoom in on them. See what they're, see? Yeah. So he's looking down, he's talking to this guy, and 3 guys are over here talking to this guy who's looking up. Someone's working over here. Another guy here. And there's a person right there. And then I went to look at the deer. So this was the closest shot I got of them. Okay. They were leaving this neighborhood going into mine. And I think I was focusing on them or something, or right in the middle. But now they're in focus. And they're following the leader. And even then, the flowers, if you look in the flowers, focus up here, they're kind of sharp, even if that's not what I was focusing on. This is Engelman's cemetery, still in that neighborhood, on top of the hill by the water tower. 1866, a private cemetery. But you zoom in, you cannot see any of the writing because it's facing the other way, okay? And it's right next to a bigger cemetery, okay? This is a private cemetery. And I'm just panning so you can see some of the flowers. And that's recent, but look at this tree. See, that's even sharp. But if we go over here, look at that. That's pretty awesome. And of course, the flowers. And then this is a good shot here too. So look in the detail where flowers are little, see the trees are bokeh, but then the pot is what I was centered on. Look how sharp that is. And they had all these mesquite trees here. Or they could be pecan, I don't know. But anyway, went to the theater. This is at 24 millimeters. And this is at 200. And it's kind of in focus. Flowers, I don't know. I go a little bit further. I mean, still, that's a great shot, but man, look at that. You can see the reflection of the sun. And look at the leaves, they kind of glow in the daylight. So there's the Santikos Theater arcade. And then the close up at 200 millimeters. And that I think is a light. So they got a light down there. Let me go back down. They got lights down here shining up and lights going to the parking lot. And then they got these lights. It's pretty neat looking at night. And then I went to the tower. This is a cell phone tower, 24 millimeters, 200 millimeters. And then wildflowers at Evans and Lookout Road. Doing a panning shot at 24 millimeters from right to left. This is what I'm going to concentrate on, 24 millimeters, 200. And they don't look too sharp, but I got a close up. And that's a pretty picture. Look how sharp that is. So with an all-in-one lens, it's pretty sharp if you have a good camera. I got a 45 megapixel one, and you can crop in and get some great shots. Here's another great shot. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Yeah, I centered this one right here. And I got even closer, closer, I just wanted to see at 200 millimeters how close I can get. Look at that. I'm trying to look at it. Yeah, that's the closest. So if I do a crop, I mean, that's sharp, folks. I'll do one back. That might be the ending picture I'll end the video with. And of course, I don't think there's a big on it, but look at that. If you can see the little pull-ups right there with the flower, that's beautiful. That's a little bit out of focus. And then the cactus, 24 millimeters. And then that 200, 24, 200, 20, or 200 millimeters right there. And this is I did a previous video or a picture on the flower. So I got up a close-up on here. So I did that with another camera. And of course, I went to this flower right here. Then back in my neighborhood, using a stop sign, then the for sale sign at 200 millimeters. The tree had no problem. It seemed a little bit brighter than the other cameras on the exposure, but it was good in the shade. 24, 200 millimeters, had no problem focusing on that water. And then the park bench. So this was in a higher or brighter setting than the other ones, but this was the last camera I was using, and the shade was going away, so the lighting, it was different, but still, look how sharp that is. That's the last picture. And then if I bring it in closer, that's pretty sharp. So what am I going to end this with? That flower? I already did that flower. What do you think? That one? Yeah, why not? And I'll leave it right there. So, thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. And this was the 24 to 200 millimeter lens, variable lens, f4 to 6.3. What do you think? All in one lens. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.